Welcome back to another podcast without a name. Here, my co-host once again, Dre. Dre, say what's up.
What's up, y'all?
All right, man. We're gonna just dive right into it today. It's gonna be a little different. Today, we're gonna talk about the rookie quarterbacks, man. It's been a struggle throughout the league for every last rookie quarterback, that's getting playing time right now. And I don't know if it looks bad on coaching, just the teams in general, or what do you think? What you think is going on?
So, to be honest, I think it's a little mixture of everything. And I know that's kind of like a sorry answer or like a safe answer, but it really is. You've got quarterbacks that they were at the top of their game in college. Some of them have been at the top of their game since the day they started playing quarterback. And now here they are in the NFL where, as Urban Meyer said, every week you're playing Alabama. Like,
Yep.
Granted, even though there are teams that are 0-2 or 0-3, whatever, you still have to prepare for them. They are still professionals. And these teams are learning that. Like, Trevor Lawrence doesn't look the same as he did at Clemson. He does every game. He has great throws that shows you why he was number one pick. But he also has like some costly, like, boneheaded throws. Zach Wilson is literally running and throwing for his life. Like every week, if you've got a defense that's going up against the Jets, they should be starting on your fantasy team because they're about to rack up some points. Mac Jones has played well. This was just a bad game. And the Saints have a good defense. Jonnu Smith didn't help out by not holding on to the ball. So, I mean, he's probably been the best out of all of them. I'm going to throw my man Jalen Hurts in there because he only played like 4 games last year.
Not a rookie, buddy. Sorry, no, you're not.
But he's playing the way he played last night. He playing just as bad as some of these rookies. Like, and our rookie head coach, we're going to get to the head coaches here in a moment. But yeah, the rookies, they've got some growing up to do. This isn't college, this isn't high school, this is the pros. And there's some things you're just not going to get away with. You got to be more decisive. Like, they're going through growing pains. And I think some of them will be all right. And some of them, time will tell.
For me, I'll just start off basically kind of how they were drafted. Trevor Lawrence, I just think they're telling him to throw the ball every time. Just if you throw picks, we don't care. They're not trying to win. They don't want to win. Look, make all the dumb plays you want. That's what you're supposed to do as a rookie, man. You got to just let the ball go, throw some picks. As long as you mix in some good things with it, they'll take it. This is just a learning curve year for him. Learning curve for Urban Meyer as well too in the NFL. So I think they're both just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And just, hey, man, just play football. I'd rather you do that just than taking sacks and throwing the ball away. Don't throw the ball away as a rookie. We don't need that. Throw some picks, throw some touchdowns, go for the home run ball every time. That's what I would tell him if I was his coach. Then Zach Wilson. I was never a big fan of him, but, I mean, he got drafted number 2. Looks bad. Looks awful. O-line sucks. It's the Jets. They're going to suck. They're going to suck probably for the longest. They're going to draft another quarterback in 3 years. It's the same cycle for them. So with Wilson, it's just he's in a tough spot. Hopefully he's going to get traded in 3 or 4 years, and then maybe he'll be a good quarterback. But for the Jets, just not happening. Trey Lance hasn't played that much, but when he has played, it's usually in a red zone. And Shanahan has him, great play designs for him, and he has a specified role. We're going to do this with you. I guess this year and next year, it's probably your job, or maybe later on the season or whatever. But right now, he has a specified plan for him, and he's working out the best, I would say. Mac Jones played well. It's the Patriots, man. He's going to play well. They're not going to put him in position to play awful. He did play the best team in the NFL this past weekend, so kind of sucked that he had to, go up against the greatest defense of all time. So then who else am I missing? Oh, Justin Fields.
Woo, boy. You talk about trial by fire. Now, I mean, I get it. The Bears have a god-awful offensive line. My man, Jason Peters, you are a bona fide Hall of Famer. You are an Eagles legend. But, man, that was not a great showing for you.
That was bad. That was real bad.
And Justin, I mean, the team as a team, 1 net passing yard. Like, as a Bears fan, I would not be like, usually even in losses, you can find like the highlights or something to be encouraged by. There was nothing about that game yesterday that would make me encouraged.
0. And Fields, I wanted to do him last. First of all, that was an awful performance by just the Bears in general. I mean, obviously Fields didn't play well, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, offensive line played bad. Receivers wasn't getting separation. just a lot of things going wrong. But that also leads me into my next topic of coaching, because I seen a couple analysts said already, Nagy, he doesn't know what he's doing. We're just gonna be honest. He's probably the worst coach in NFL right now. Justin Fields, what, the draft was in May, June, I don't know when. It's September, almost October, and you didn't have a game plan for this guy that's been on your team for all these months. You didn't have not one design quarterback run, some rollouts, some easy passes, RPOs. He had absolutely nothing. And I almost think he did it on purpose. I just think that, you know what? I didn't want Fields. I think Dalton's my guy. Maybe I want Foles, but they're trying to force me to play this rookie quarterback. So you know what? Go out there and suffer. I'm going to leave Myles Garrett one-on-one the entire game with Jason Peters, who you knew after the first drive that, okay, he's going to need help today. You know what? I won't help him. So he's doing an awful job. And if the Bears wanted to find a bright side of that game, maybe he's closer to being fired. That's about the only bright side out of that game, that Bears fans can look at, because I think he's one of the worst coaches of all time. And that's just how I feel about him.
Next to Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Coaching has been a little bit of an issue, especially for the rookie coaches. Robert Saleh, I'm not really downing him too much, just because he's not an offensive, an offensive coach. His main thing is the defense. The defense has been up and down for the Jets. They've looked at times much better than they did last year, but he's not really working with a lot. The man inherited a
terrible,
really, really bad team. I'm trying to be as nice as possible. So it's going to be some time for, his philosophy to pretty much take effect. My rookie head coach, Nick Sirianni, bruh, how do you only give Miles Sanders 2 rushes the entire game? 2 rushes for, I believe it was 27 yards. One of the rushes was 22, 23 yards. Like, it's not like the game was completely out of hand the entire game. Like you saw, okay, in the beginning of the game, hey, Hurts he's not in the groove yet. He doesn't got it. Let's pound the rock with Miles a little bit. Let's have the defense, kind of suck up a little bit, so the receivers have less people that they have to work with. No, you go out there and you've got Jalen out here throwing, 30 some odd passes, and it could be more. It's just that Jalen ends up having to run, and Jalen's just escaping the pocket way too early, and it's a mess right now. And it's the same thing I've been saying for every single Eagles coach minus Chip Kelly, and I think it's just because Chip Kelly loved doing it. But Chip Kelly's been the only head coach that loves running the ball. But Doug Peterson had a problem running the ball. Nick Sirianni, as of right now, has a problem running the ball unless it's Jalen Hurts that's running it. Andy Reid would have times problems running the ball, but he's mainly a passing coach, and at least the passing offense was good when Andy Reid was here, so we could look past it. And he always knew at least when it was time to run. So I get it. You're a wide receivers coach. You want to prove that you can, have our wide receivers performing better than they have in years past. But bruh, you are running a team. Like, you've got to have balance. Give the ball to Miles Sanders. Like, that drove me crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, if I follow a lot of people who, cheer for a lot of different teams. It's about every team in the league has people crying about their coaches. Like, coaching has just become awful around the league. Because it's just a big gap. You can see like what guys are super, super good, and you see what guys are kind of, lackluster and things like that. So when you see guys like McVay, Sean Payton, or Belichick, or whoever you want to name, they got their offense or their defense going crazy, and you're looking at your team like, man, our players just as good as them. So like, what's the issue there?
I think one issue, I think everybody is too, and I don't blame Sean McVay, but I blame the media when Sean McVay got hired. Everybody's trying to find the next quote unquote genius.
Yep.
So it's like, because Sean McVay came in, his offense, took off, yada, yada, but you also got to look at what Sean McVay, not even him, but what the Rams organization did for him. What did they give him to fulfill his, or to help him have the players to fulfill his culture, his philosophy, all that kind of stuff. And it's not like he's been a genius every single year. Like, Jared Goff still made questionable decisions. He still got beat by Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl, but, he's been relatively good, on average. So it's like, you don't have to be the genius. Just go out there, do what your team needs, and then the genius titles and all that kind of stuff will come. I mean, Belichick's been in this thing for 30, 40 plus years. and it's not, and he really hasn't changed his defense much. It's just he does what the defense needs to do to stop his opponent. He doesn't care about being called a genius. He just does what he needs to do to beat his opponent. So all these other coaches, and I know they're young, but they just need to do what they need to do to beat the opponent. Don't try and be this genius and doing all these weird, crazy stuff and trying to outsmart people. No, like there will be a time for that, but every play is not that time.
Yeah, I agree. And you obviously saw the genius, Sean McVay, in the Super Bowl against the real genius in Bill Belichick. He scored 3 points. So I know everyone wants to hire the next McVay, like you said, but I don't know if it's the hiring process or what, but some of these coaches just look in over their head, look like they're not ready to be head coaches and things like that. And it's obviously becoming a problem in the league because, I mean, it's just bad. It's just bad. That's all. Like the coaching is awful, and I'm being nice right there. Also, actually, before I finish, the taunting rule kind of went away this week. Kind of went away this week. After last week, they were wilding. They were wilding with those taunting calls. And for this week, I didn't really see any. I saw guys getting in people's faces. I saw a couple claps. I was like, oh, no flags this week. Obviously, I think the NFL realized that they were wilding last week. And they were like, let's cut back on some of these taunting calls. Only if it's just blatant and obvious, we'll call it, because that was disgusting last week.
Right. Cost some teams some gains.
For a fact. All right, now we'll move on for the players of the week. Offensive, I'll start. Gonna start first guy, Josh Allen. It's my offensive player of the week. Also my MVP pick, so I kind of have to put him there. It's about time he can, excuse me. I'm watching a soccer game right now as I'm recording. I'm so good like that. But yeah, Josh Allen's my player of the week. Obviously had a great game against Washington, a real good defense. I'm on the right week. Yeah, real good defense. And man, I just think he's gonna win an MVP. So Josh Allen, my offensive player of the week.
Yeah, I can't really argue too much against that. For me, for offensive player of the week, I'm gonna give it to Justin Herbert. He went into Kansas City, went Arrowhead, did what he had to do. The Chiefs did I'm not gonna say they did a great job because they didn't, but they did an okay job of at least making him limit going to Keenan Allen. But all he did was just say, all right, well, I'm just going to tear you apart with Mike Williams. So when he got into the red zone, Mike Williams was literally his number one target, and he made him pay for it. But he played well. He got the win against Kansas City, early on. So they're now up there close to the top of the division. So Justin Herbert's my pick.
That's not bad. My fantasy quarterback. So look, not mad at that at all. Finally showed up after, quiet first 2 weeks from Herbert. Finally showed up in week 3 and looked like that guy that everybody was projecting to be MVP candidate type, all the wild, claims he was getting. He finally lived up to that. Who do you have for defensive player of the week this week?
So the easy answer is Myles Garrett. So I'm not going to go the easy answer this week. And I'm actually going to pick Byron Murphy, the cornerback for the Cardinals, mainly because Jacksonville was looking pretty good in the first half of that game, especially after the Cardinals attempted that 68-yard kick. Missed it. Agnew takes it 109 yards. If I'm not mistaken, that's only the third time in NFL history that a touchdown went for 109 yards. So, they went to the halftime just booming, thinking, oh, we about to get a win. We're going to beat the undefeated Cardinals. And then, he just baited Trevor Lawrence and got 2 picks, got pick 6 and all that. So he turned the tide and, got his team back in the game. So that's what a defensive player is supposed to do when the offense is, struggling a little bit. So I'm going to give it to him this week.
And I could give it to Myles Garrett. Obviously, he deserves it. Which, if I did, that would be my, MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, getting that this week. So that was a good week for me in my predictions. But decided to give it to Marshawn Lattimore. Coming off surgery, this is why I'm giving it to him. Coming off of surgery, didn't play week 2, had hand surgery, thumb surgery, whatever. Had a broken hand, played with a cast and things like that. Came back against the Patriots. Gave up, I think, 4 catches for like 30 yards, had an interception, was targeted like 9 times, was all over the field, man. Obviously need that number 1 corner. And it's his first game after signing a $100 million contract. To come out there, first game, lock people down, get a pick, can't ask for more. My defensive player of the week and the best corner in the NFL right now. So, hey, Marshawn Lattimore, he did his thing. Now we're going to get to the games of the upcoming week. Because I think you went, what, 2-2 last week in your predictions?
Yeah, I went 2-2.
I went 4-0. So I think that puts me at 7 or 8-0 on the season. I know you can't relate to being undefeated, but I'm undefeated so far in my picks. Wish I'd have bet some money on these games.
Well, I mean, the thing was, I said, granted, I picked the Eagles against the Cowboys. Not said it was going to be a tough game, but as long as we played mistake free, and we played balanced, we would have a chance, and we did neither one of those. And then my other game was a toss-up. I literally said, I was like, I could pick 49ers or Packers, but I said, I'm gonna go with the 49ers. And all the way up until 37 seconds left in the game, I was doing good. And then the defense was playing way too soft and just let Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers go down the field. So I'm not mad with 2-2 for those two types of games. So I'll take
I know everybody can't be undefeated, but we'll do this week. The first game, Jags versus Bengals. Who are we going with there? I think that's the Thursday night game.
So I think Bengals will win. Mainly just because Jags just traded, their corner, CJ Henderson. So I don't really see anybody on that team that's going to stop Jamar Chase. He's been playing pretty well these past couple of weeks. Trevor Lawrence is probably going to throw a pick or two and probably get sacked a couple of times. To be honest, as long as, Burrow does, because he's been kind of interception prone these past few weeks. As long as he doesn't play too many or cause many mistakes, Bengals should win that game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but I would say 24-14.
Yeah, exactly what I have. About a 10-point win for the Bengals. I think it's going to be close, but also not really close. One of those games where we're ahead comfortably. We'll just, they'll just win it. Thursday game, I think the Bengals win, by 10 points right there. I think that should be a easy one for them. Next we'll go Raiders, Chargers. That's going to be a big one, in the division right there. That's a tough one. Actually, I didn't even think about this. Now that I mentioned it. Raiders, Chargers.
Because see, the issue is, Derwin James, once again, he had another injury last game with his shoulder. So I don't know how close to it he's going to play, but I'm not close to 100% he's going to be. The Raiders have started slow a lot of these games, but they pick it up and they find a way to win. To be honest, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go with the Chargers just because I feel like they're going to be flying high after that Chiefs victory. And then knowing that if they win this game, they'll be, depending on what happens in the Broncos game, but if they win this game, they will either be sole possession of first place, tied for first place, or actually no, because the Broncos are undefeated. So they'll either be sole possession of first place or they'll be in second place with the tiebreaker against the Raiders. So I'm going to go with the Chargers just because I think they're flying a little bit higher and the Raiders have escaped a few more games than they've actually won. They've played great, don't get me wrong, but they've escaped more games than won.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Chargers will win. Herbert's starting to heat up. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are probably the best duo in football right now at the receiver spot. They've just been killing it. Mike Williams finally turning into that top 10 pick, when they drafted him super, super high. So he's finally, turning that leaf. I know he had back problems and things like that, but yeah, I think the Chargers will win this game. I think fairly comfortable too. I think the Raiders will finally have a stinker. They really should have had a stinker against Miami, but it's Miami. They just let them get back in the game and things like that. So I'll go with the Chargers by 17. I think it's not going to be close. And Jacobs is still hurt, so I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball. So I'm gonna go Chargers fairly easy on there. Now we have let's see what we do next year. Baltimore Broncos. Baltimore Broncos. Teddy's been playing great. I'll go first. Teddy's been playing great. That defense has been playing excellent, the Broncos. People are saying, their schedule's weak, their schedule this. But hey, man, it's the NFL. You only can play who's on your schedule. You can't just go schedule whoever you want to play. I say all that to pick the Ravens. Just because the Ravens have the best player in the NFL, Justin Tucker. So I'm gonna have to go to Ravens, man, just because I think
is this game at Broncos or at Ravens?
I believe it's a home game for the Broncos. I could be wrong, but
so Justin Tucker might kick a 70-yard field goal.
Hey, man, exactly. But yeah, I'm definitely going Ravens there.
Well, just a quick shout out to him. Congrats on the NFL record. Even with the help of the crossbar.
Yes, it's at Broncos in Denver.
Okay. I'm a differ with you just slightly on this game. I'm gonna keep riding with the Broncos.
I love Teddy, so if they win, I won't even be mad, man.
Yeah, I
I
mean
won't
he,
even be
he's
mad.
my quarterback. We're
My,
alumni together and everything, so I gotta stick with him. He undefeated and everything. And it's just that defense. I feel like that Broncos defense is going to, you know, put some pressure on that Ravens offense. And then if Hollywood Brown drops two deep balls again, then it might not be, it might not end too well like it did last week, at least for them. So I'm gonna go Broncos with this game.
Not bad. It was kind of toss up for me too. I guess we can pick this one. Steelers, Packers. I don't have much to say. I'm gonna go with the Packers. Ben needs to retire.
I'm going Packers.
Yeah,
Like
we can just go
Big
to
Ben, we're watching his decline, and it is not pretty.
awful. And last, but certainly not least, I'm sure all of the TV shows and podcasts and whatever is going to be talking about this game all week. You have Tom Brady returning to New England finally. Well, not finally. It's only been like a year, but yeah, Tom Brady's returning to New England. Bucks are looking good, coming off a loss. Patriots are coming off a loss as well. What do you see happening in that game?
So I see Tom Brady becoming the number one NFL record or the number one passing.
Whoa, we not even talking about that. Why we talking about the game? I don't care about.
He only needs 67 yards.
He might get 65 and retire right afterwards. I don't know.
If Tom Brady gets 65 yards,
he might only get 65. I mean, hey, before we get there, see how long it took him to pass Drew Brees. My guy's on TV. He's still chasing him. My guy's not even playing no more. Like,
bro, I mean,
but anyways,
Peyton retired years ago, and it took him a few more years to pass.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Brees and Brady. But anyways, continue.
But I mean, to be honest, this is a bad matchup. Like, it's not as marquee as a lot of people are trying to make it out, because the Patriots offense is not necessarily built to go up against the Bucks defense. I understand the Bucks defense has cornerback issues and stuff like that, but they still have a strong front seven, whether JPP plays next week or not. I don't trust the Patriots wide receivers enough for it to even matter who the Bucks have.
But you don't trust Nelson Aguilar?
No. Like, I remember that meme when the dude said when they were throwing the babies out the window of the fire thing and catching them, and he was like, unlike Aguilar. Like, I remember that. Like, granted, I'm so happy we won the Super Bowl with him, but I'm not worried about that. So, but to help them out, they can't make mistakes. Like, Jonnu Smith has to catch that ball and not pop it up in the air and stuff like that. Like, they have to help their quarterback out in situations like that. But Bucks will win this game, unless something crazy or stupid happens. I mean, Belichick will have some type of defense plan, but I just don't think they have the personnel. It'd be a little different if the Patriots had Gilmore, but because he's still on the pup, I'm gonna give it to the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you got Gronk coming back as well, which people were forgetting about. I even forgot about for a second. Gronk's coming back. Brady's coming back.
Depends on how that rib injury is for Gronk, though.
True, but I mean, he's going back to New England. I think he's gonna play, and Belichick tried to trade Gronk. Gronk retired. End up letting Tom Brady go. So it's going to be a revenge game for both of them. Tom Brady's coming off a loss. He's going to be mad. He's going to be used to playing in New England, probably deflate some balls or something. Who knows what he's going to do when he get up there. But, yeah, I think this is too much firepower. Patriots can't really hang. So, yeah, I fit all that just to pick the Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots win because I can't pick Tom Brady winning the game. It's just not in my heart. So, Patriots win 24-21. That's what I'm going with. I got the Patriots over the Bucks, and I need it to happen for the Saints. So, hey, I'm going with my heart over my head.
Undefeated record on the line right there.
Hey, man, sometimes it's football. You never know. But
could you imagine if the rookie beats the legend?
I can't wait. Hey, man, sometimes I just pick what I want to happen. So, hey, that's just what
I'd be right there with. Even though I picked the Bucks, I'd be happy if the Patriots won that game.
Exactly. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Patriots right there. I think Mac Jones plays well enough where he just gets the job done. And I think Bill Belichick's gonna have a nice game plan for Brady. He's gonna be ready for this one. I know this may be a Super Bowl. Like, he hasn't slept since that Saints game ended. I can tell you that. So, yeah, I'm going Patriots. I mean, that'll basically, wrap up the show for today. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff, interact with us. We'll respond back to you guys and things like that for sure. Leave some comments down there. Who's your offensive player, defensive player of the week, all that good stuff. Predict the games, whatever you want to do. But we'll be back next Tuesday with another episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we out.